You ever have one of those days where you think you're about to step into your own private slice of paradise, and instead, you end up smack in the middle of someone else's circus? Yeah, that was me. First morning out on my new land in Nevada, still shaking the dust off my boots, sun barely up, when I come face to face with the last thing I ever expected, a shimmering, Olympic-sized HOA pool, cabana and all, built right in my inheritance like the world's worst party favor. I just stood there, mouth open, truck door half closed, wondering if I'd died and come back as the janitor for a luxury spa. See, this property was supposed to be my chance at peace, a legacy from my grandfather, 7 whole acres of brush, sand, and stubborn sage that nobody else in the family ever cared for. I'd spent months fighting the probate court, sweating through lawyer fees, imagining myself building a little off-grid cabin, drinking beer under the stars. Never did I plan on inheriting a full-blown resort, let alone one run by the Silver Creek Ridge HOA, whose taste in landscaping ran somewhere between country club chic and Olympic trial finalist. But there it was, blue water glinting in the sun, freshly painted private, HOA use-only sign hung up like a dare, parking lot and all, right on my land. First thing I did was pull out that old folded property map from my glove box, my one piece of armor against this madness. Check the lines, the landmarks, the battered fence post my granddad hammered in back in '78. Yep, that pool wasn't just close to the line, it was 60 feet into my parcel, and the utilities snaked through my lot like a bad joke. I didn't even eat dinner that night. Just drove back to Reno, too mad to chew, and by sunrise, I had a licensed surveyor named Mitchell out there pacing every inch with his gear. For hours, a folder of certified documents and one dry laugh from Mitchell later, I had the truth on paper. 62% of the pool, plus the filtration systems, sitting pretty on my inheritance. Now, I wasn't itching for a fight, not at first. Hell, I'd have settled for a little rent, a handshake, maybe a neighborly beer over the fence line. I sent the HOA a formal letter, professional, not a single threat, spelled out the options. Move the pool, pay lease, or buy the dirt fair and square. But the only response I got was a condescending email from Karen Montgomery, HOA president and reigning queen of passive aggression. She accused me of harassment, blackmail, unlawful land use threat, and informed me that any changes to her pool area would be seen as vandalism. Told me not to contact anyone unless it was through the council. I swear I laughed so hard at her letter, I almost spit out my coffee. But laughing only gets you so far, especially when you're up against folks who treat bylaws like scripture. So I filed for a temporary injunction through county court, hired a fencing crew from Sparks, and decided if boundaries were what they wanted, boundaries were what they'd get. 11 grand worth of powder-coated steel, run to the inch. The fence company hadn't been working more than an hour before Karen showed up in full HOA regalia. Yoga pants, clipboard, phone waving in the air, demanding answers. I handed her the survey, the deed, and watched her face turn a whole new shade of angry. "This is criminal interference," she barked. "I'm calling the sheriff." And she did. Half an hour later, a patrol SUV rolls up. Deputy McKinney, belt heavy, mustache serious, listens to her, then turns to me. "You got paperwork for this fence?" I hand him everything. He reads slow, looks up, and says, deadpan, "Ma'am, this is his land. He can put a fence wherever he pleases." Karen's face? Pure poetry. She storms off, threatens more lawsuits, leaves me and the fence guys to finish up. From there, the tension only built. HOA emails started coming. One from their lawyer, full of threats and legalese. One handwritten note taped to my windshield in red ink. "This will ruin lives. Hope you're proud." Creepy, but also kind of sad. The real show started when the fence cut straight through the deep end of the pool, blocked off the cabana, left the HOA lifeguards standing outside the lock gate looking like lost kids at closing time. Karen's next move? She called, demanded I take the fence down before someone gets hurt. I let that voicemail rot. Then came the lawsuit. HOA served me in person, alleging malicious obstruction, emotional distress, and, my personal favorite, destruction of communal harmony. Buried in the complaint was a scanned letter, supposedly from my granddad, offering the land to the community as a gesture of goodwill. Only thing is, my granddad hated computers, wrote everything on a typewriter. This letter? Straight out of Microsoft Word, watermark and all. My lawyer, Jen, checked the metadata and nearly burst out laughing. Forged 5 months ago, written in Karen style, and full of lines cribbed from other HOA docs. They handed us a fraud case on a silver platter. So we countersued, trespass, fraudulent occupation, attempted forgery. Even got the county building office involved. Turns out, the original permit for the pool only covered the HOA side of the line. On paper, the pool was supposed to be 20 feet shorter. Somewhere along the way, someone decided to just nudge the construction over the line. The county inspector admitted he never checked the boundary, trusted the HOA's word. We called him to testify. He squirmed in the witness chair, admitted under oath that the only survey he saw was internal. Judge didn't even try to hide his irritation. Meanwhile, Karen doubled down, sent newsletters around, painted me as a rogue squatter trying to extort her precious neighborhood, started a petition to redraw the borders. 16 signatures, 8 from her family, 1 from her cat's vet. It was a mess. The court, though, saw straight through it. Jen hammered them on the forged letter, the boundary violations, the construction lies. The judge barred use of the pool, pending resolution. That's when the HOA, desperate to show they were still in charge, threw a massive summer party on my land behind my locked fence in open defiance of a court order. Balloons, sheet cake, loud music, the whole deal. I walked out, phone in hand, filmed Karen and her son barking orders through a megaphone. She threatened me, said I was the criminal for filming. I just called the sheriff again. McKinney showed up, took one look, and arrested Karen for contempt of court, cuffed her right in front of her neighbors. The party died faster than a bug zapper on a humid night. That made the papers. Local news ran a headline about HOA president detained over disputed pool, and suddenly neighbors who'd ignore me started knocking on my door, awkwardly apologizing. County code inspectors rolled out, found all sorts of violations. Uninspected pumps, bad emergency exits, unpermitted access routes. The HOA board cracked. 3 members resigned. Karen was suspended, and the new crew begged to negotiate. Too late, my lawyer replied. You had your chance. Here's the twist nobody saw coming. After all the wrangling, the county tax assessor came out and told me, technically, that luxury pool is now part of your property. Unless a judge orders removal, it's yours. So not only did I defend my inheritance, I became the proud, legal owner of a high-end spa I never built. All because Karen and her cronies thought paperwork didn't matter. Final court day, Jen and I walked in like we owned the place. The judge, old, gruff, no patience for nonsense, laid it all out. HOA trespassed, forged documents, violated permits. Karen sentenced to community service, HOA fined, pool and cabana officially mine. The best part? Their board was ordered to dismantle everything that crossed onto my land, down to the last bolt and blade of grass. Karen, once queen of Silver Creek Ridge, ended up in a neon vest, picking up trash by the highway, her fall chronicled on the local gossip blog. I kept a screenshot. So what's the lesson? Maybe it's this. Sometimes the lines that matter most aren't the ones you see on paper, but the ones you defend when push comes to shove. Power and entitlement crumble fast when they run into someone who knows what's theirs and won't back down, no matter how loud the threats or shiny the pool. Now, every morning I walk out, coffee in hand, past that metal sign I hung by the new gate. Not built with my money, still mine. Sometimes I think about filling in the pool, paving it over, erasing the whole mess. But I didn't. I renovated, turned it into a private retreat, booked out to folks who actually respect boundaries. Each splash, every laugh I hear out there, it's a reminder that justice isn't just some word on a sign. It's a line you draw and defend, even when everyone tells you to let it go. But here's what I want to know. Where do you draw the line? If it was your land, your family's legacy, would you have fought back or let slide? Ever had an HOA or a neighbor try to run you over just because they could? Drop your stories, your thoughts. Let's hear what you'd have done in my boots. And if you've ever watched karma play out right in front of you, you know exactly how sweet that last laugh can be.